Hello, welcome back to Developing You, where it's all about real questions, your questions, answers, and then some solutions, some things you can apply to your life. You see, it's all about creating positive habits. It's no good just being inspired by something and understanding it intellectually. It's important to apply it to your life. You see, you need to make positive habits to grow. That's how you're going to expand. That's how you're going to develop yourself and how you're going to feel different and be different to how you've been in the past. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please feel free to do so, because there's going to be so much more coming as we develop these questions and these answers. And I'm really looking forward to delving into these questions and giving you a real how-to to actually create positive change. So let's have a little look at our question for today. Now, this lady says, I'm retired and at a loose end. What are some goals I can set for myself in this new journey? Okay, so if you imagine, we don't know an awful lot about this person's background, but, perhaps they've been very active in their life. They've been doing a lot for themselves, but maybe a lot for other people as well. Potentially, they could have had a career or not. But we get used to doing a lot in our life. We get caught up in the whole aspect of doing and action in our life. So it's very common then at that point to talk about setting goals, because, a lot of people talk about set a goal and achieve that goal. But when you get to a point in your life, potentially where, you haven't got the same restraints that you maybe once had, maybe you haven't got a job anymore, maybe you don't have children to look after, and there is this concept, says, of a loose end, there's nothing to do, so a bit of a loose end. And it can be a time where we end up filling that space we've got with more stuff for other people, lots of doing. So even though you can hear in this question that there is a sense of wanting to have more personal achievement, more sort of remember, the only reason we take action on things is because we feel we're going to feel better when we do. That's why we create something. I want to achieve that because when I get there, I'm going to feel this. But ironically, it's the growth process that has all these challenges and excitement and all the other stuff involved in it. If we actually step by step expand and celebrate as we're developing in line with the thing that we wish to achieve. But when we get to a point in our life where we don't have the same things that we need to do anymore, then yes, what are we going to do next? And the answer is, we're not actually going to do to start with. We're going to spend some time with ourselves and connect into what it feels like. How do we want to feel in our life? How do we wish to experience things? Do we want to feel more excited? Do we want to feel calm? Do we want to feel more challenged? It's how do we wish to experience our life from this moment onwards. So instead of thinking, I'm going to set a goal that's in my future, think more of it like this. I'm going to set a goal within myself. This next month, I'm going to spend time with myself and notice what I enjoy, notice whether I'm looking for more excitement, or I'm looking for things to be a bit more steady, or whether I'm looking for interaction. What is it I'm looking for? So it's not about setting a goal out there, it's about setting one in here. What do I want? And it's sometimes quite tricky, especially if we haven't considered ourselves very much. So what you need is some sort of simple practice just to spend with yourself each day. Maybe it'll be listening to a piece of music that you enjoy listening to. And I wouldn't suggest that you do something where you're actively involved, like reading or looking at the computer, or looking at emails, or, doing an activity in the house. I suggest you sit with yourself, maybe just for 5 minutes every day, and just be present with yourself. Don't be frightened of it, because sometimes it can be quite scary to sit with yourself, especially if you've done lots of things for other people. And when you do sit with yourself, listening to some music, maybe getting yourself a journal so you could just write down what you notice, how you feel, and ask yourself, put yourself at the top of that piece of paper. What do I want? What do I want to be next? How do I want to experience my life next? And, it basically looking at who do I want to be now? Not what I do, but who am I going to be? I'm going to be the most authentic aspect of myself. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to notice what I want to do, what I enjoy, and then start to experience some of that. So make that your direction. Rather than a goal that's very external, make that the starting point and notice where that takes you. It may take you to places you'd never expected. And then when you've started that, then of course you can start taking action in line with that. So to recap, spend a little bit of time every single day. Get yourself a journal that you can write in. Listen to some music that you enjoy while you're doing this. And then write at the top of the page, who do I want to be? What do I want to experience? So how do I want it to feel? Maybe write a list of how it's going to feel. Write down things I enjoy now. Okay, things maybe I've enjoyed in the past. And really allow it to flow. So for 5 to 10 minutes every day, that's what you're going to do. Don't censor yourself, write it out, and then when you finish, go back and read over it and just notice what you've got. And then those things could take you in a direction. Maybe you'll read something, then apply that to the same technique over the course of those 4 weeks. So if you read something and think, gosh, that's interesting, put that in your journal and then notice how you feel about it. Does it inspire you? Why? Is it in line with what I want to achieve for myself, who I am? And just notice where that takes you. And at the end of the 4 weeks, then say, what actions do I want to do? What would I like to do next out of this experience that I've created over the last 4 weeks? And I'd really look forward to hearing from you. Make sure you do practice, because if you don't, nothing's going to come. Don't expect it to come from outside of yourself. It will come from within you. So thank you so much for that question. I'm sure it's going to be very useful for a lot of people. And, do apply what I've suggested. Notice what happens, write it down in your journal. And please come back to me. Tell me what happens. And if you've got any further questions, then please put them in the comments below. Remember to also look underneath and see any other information that I've left there for you. And, I'd just like to say thank you so much for these questions, because they mean everything. Without these questions, we're not going to be able to help each other and support everybody's growth. So thank you for now. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you soon with even more questions. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.